Pretty spiritual. Hi, I'm Shay.
And I'm Amy.
And welcome back to another episode of
Pretty Spiritual.
Hi, hun.
Hi, hun.
High vibe, low vibe.
So, my low vibe is my hormones have been a little bit all over the place this past week. It's just part of being a girly. But yeah, I've definitely noticed like the ups and the downs have been a lot this week. So just been trying to navigate through that whilst also being productive and trying to get through everything that I've needed to do. So that's been my low vibe. My high vibe has been that I have been on a bit of a mission this past week to do something new and something different for lunch every day, because I feel like I get so like bored of having the same things every single day. And it's going really well. My husband has been very happy. He's been like absolutely loving all of the lunches that we've been having. So I feel like that's
You're going to have to send me.
Oh my God, yeah, info. I will. I definitely will. So yeah, we've had some nice lunches this week.
You both. You're so lucky, Scott.
What about you? So what's been your high and low vibe this week?
So my low vibe is, I know when we were filming a couple of weeks ago, I was so poorly and I continued to be really poorly. Like I went quite downhill. We had to cancel filming, didn't we?
Yeah.
Last week because of it. And I have just been so exhausted and just needing to sleep. And I'm still not fully out of it, but I feel 100 times better.
Oh,
and I think part of it is kind of, I've had to pull myself together because obviously my partner's broke his foot as well. And it's like, okay, everything's on me right now. But I do feel so much better than I did 2 weeks ago. So still feeling unwell, still a low vibe, but doing better.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Then my high vibe is lots of my plants are starting to bloom and I'm really happy. My hydrangea's beautiful. My hollyhocks are coming up so nice. Still waiting on my roses. Not sure what's happening there, but lots of stuff that I planted last year has come back and it's starting to bloom and it just makes me so happy.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I'm hoping I can get out in the garden and do some bits. I've got lots of like baby plants that I've grown in the greenhouse that I need to like get out properly. So I haven't had time this week, so I'm hoping I get to enjoy that this week.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Oh, sounds lovely.
So this week we're talking about the fear of being seen.
Yeah, and we wanted to talk about this because we feel like so many people, spiritual or not, will be able to relate with feeling like they've not been able to show up as their true and authentic self.
So when you think about being seen, what does that mean to you?
So I think being fully seen is when you are being your most authentic, most open, honest self. And I think the fear of that comes from all of the years of conditioning and adapting and masking to show up as the person that we think we need to be rather than the person that we actually are.
Yeah, no, completely agree with that one. Spot on.
So why do you think so many of us have a fear of being seen?
So I think, like you've just mentioned in the beginning, conditioning. I think as women, I speak for women, a woman myself, a lot of the time we were just expected to just be quiet and go along the path that's been laid out essentially. And yeah, put up and shut up. In the corporate world and life in general. And it's like literally going back to when we were younger. Do you remember Yorkie bar adverts? And it's like, it's not for girls.
Yeah.
Like simple doesn't even bother me. I think that advert was great, to be honest. But anyway, not in a feminist way. But it was a great marketing ploy. But when you think of little things like that all add into society and condition us to make us feel like we're less than and we're not supposed to have an opinion. And of course we're not going to feel seen because we're internalizing all the things we want to say and what we think because we're being told by society that if we have these feelings and whatnot, we're less than the other sexuality. No. the other sex. Yeah,
gender.
exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I feel like there are so many things that are said to us as children that basically teach us that it's not okay to behave or do what we want to.
Yeah.
So comments like, oh, you can't do that because it's not ladylike, or oh, come on, be a good girl, like, or, you know, all of these like reinforcing the things that are being reinforced into us that
all add up.
They add up and they teach us that you need to behave in a certain way in order to be accepted in society.
Yeah.
And I think when you're at school and even when you go into work, it then creates this behaviour where you're constantly assessing how everybody else behaves, how everyone else interacts, especially when you're young. And you're almost like adjusting your behaviour to that. You're adjusting the way that you come across to that.
100%. I know we kind of touched on it in the episode about things we were unlearning in our 30s, about being in the workplace and how things differ. But it's the same for this scenario. Like, you're constantly analysing everything and checking yourself to make sure that you're not stepping outside of that.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It is. It's like we've been taught that we need to toe a certain line, especially as women. And it's, you know, essentially we're becoming like, or we have become like watered down versions of ourselves. So then when you start to become aware of that and you start unlearning things in your 30s and you start, you know, unmasking and you start like coming back to who you truly are, that can be so scary because it's like you're letting your authentic, wild, untamed self out into the world that has never probably been truly seen before because you've been so busy doing all of the things that society and everybody else has told you to do.
Yeah, and it's like simple comments like about your behavior or the way that you come across, they all add up in time. But there is no better feeling, and I'm not 100% there, than being seen for just who you are and not giving a damn about it, and it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. So are there any specific situations that come to your mind when you think about the fear of being seen or like the judgment that comes from being seen?
Yeah, every day of my life. No, I'm joking. It used to be. Definitely with how I come across in the workplace, because I used to just be the kind of person that, when we said this before, that sat there and just towed the line. And then I suddenly changed into the person that's kind of, no, hold on, that's not what I stand for, or I have an opinion. That kind of thing. And then the same in my personal life. I think like we've spoke on elders before, haven't we? Thinking that they just deserve respect because they're older than you. And that is something I completely disagree with. And if I feel so strongly about something, I'm having my opinion and no one is pushing me another way. But I think with being seen, I think for being seen, I spent a very long time just being seen as someone's mom and not myself. And my whole world still does revolve around my son, but there was no ounce of me there. So I went very much inside myself, and it was just, I'm Shay, I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course it is. It's like that kind of like loss of your own personal identity and like showing up as yourself as well as then being a mom.
There's people in my life that only wanted to see me because they wanted to see my son, and it's very easy to get in your head that that's why they want to see you and spend time with you. And then you become very hyper aware, like if you're trying to have an adult conversation, because as a new mom you don't have very many adult conversations whatsoever, when you're talking to people and then suddenly they stop talking to you because they're talking to your child and you're like halfway through a conversation, that really can hit hard because you're like, okay, so no one cares for what I have to say or that I'm here. I'm just,
you're just there to
bring my
the child.
Here's my child.
Yeah. That
And
must be
it's not a
tough.
nice feeling. It is tough. And that can be applicable to many situations, not just being a new mom. It's very easy for people to just slot into the background. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can understand that. And that must be so tough because you're ultimately still a human. You still want to have interactions with people. And I can imagine that you also want to talk about things other than your child, as much as you absolutely adore your child.
I don't want to talk about my child.
Yeah, it's like you want to, have conversation outside of that.
Yeah, and you know what? People still do it to me now. But instead of me kind of going inside myself and being like, oh, woe is me, everyone's ignoring me, I just feel rage about it. I have to do some like internal grounding because I do feel rage. I'm like, disrespectful, like rude. But then I just now like mirror that and I'll just like, yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
What about you, Hen?
So I think for me, one of the situations that really springs to mind is I remember being in secondary school. I was probably about 14 and I did college day release where I went to do hairdressing. I was like learning hairdressing. And
another side quest.
Yeah, another hobby. And I was really into like experimenting. It was like my creative outlet. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved trying like different hair dyes and things like that. And anyway, I decided that I wanted to dye my hair purple. I know, but it was like a plum purple colour.
Okay.
And I dyed my hair purple.
I feel like I know exactly what brand you used. By any chance, was it the XXL Live?
It probably was, yeah. It probably was, yeah. This was all the range. And yeah, so I dyed my hair purple and I remember going into school the next day and I got into so much trouble for it. And it was completely against all of the school rules. It was like, you're not allowed to dye your hair, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. And I feel like when you're a teenager, the way that you dress and the way that you do your makeup, do your hair, it's the way that you express your individuality. And it's like, it is your creative expression.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're in that kind of environment and they're trying to tell you that you can't do that or that you need to look the same as everybody else, that then conditions you and it subconsciously makes you believe that like it's not okay to show up in the way that you want to show up, and it's more important that you toe the line and that you show up in the way that they expect you to. And I feel like that's just something that always sticks into my mind. Because we ended up having I was very stubborn when I was a teenager. So although I know we've talked in previous episodes about me being quiet as a child, when I got to a teenager, I would say quite rebellious and very, very stubborn. And the school were like, you're going to need to dye your hair back. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I was literally like, no.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we were in this toe to toe for a while. But I just feel like it's something that I really...
It sticks with you, obviously.
Yeah, it sticks with me. And I just think it is the wrong message that we should be giving to young girls, but young people in general.
Young, impressionable people, yeah.
Because I just feel like we should encourage self-expression and creativity and showing up in the way that we want to rather than the way that everybody else expects us to. And it's something that I really, really disagree with. And I also think that when you then think about going to work, if you work in an office or, a corporate, it doesn't even have to be corporate, but you're working in an office environment. Yeah. Okay, I understand that you need to look presentable, that's fine. But it's almost like companies, even when there's not a uniform, there's a uniform.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's things that you can wear, there's things that you can't wear. And I just really, really don't like that. Yeah. And and I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I was talking to my friend's niece the other day, and she was saying that at her school, all the girls have to wear skirts. They're not allowed to wear trousers. Wow. And I just think, to be honest, it really fills me with rage because I just think When are we
Why?
going to stop telling people what to wear, how to show up, how to do their hair, how to do their makeup? I really, really disagree with that because I feel like it's the wrong message that we should be sending people. And it help people then become or develop this fear of being seen because they're like, they don't even know who they are anymore because you have all of this conditioning and you have all of these different like authority figures, whether it's, a teacher at school or sometimes it could be a parent or your boss in the work environment. It's all of these people that we see as authority figures telling us how we need to show up. And I just think that it is incredibly damaging.
I agree. I mean, I want to know the reason why these kind of things exist because they differ from, like, just going back to the school thing as well. Schools have us all in uniforms here in the UK, don't they, anyway? So everybody wears a uniform, everyone's in the same. And yes, you have your uniform rules, but they seem to differ. I started at one secondary school and I wasn't allowed to wear makeup, so I was always getting expelled for wearing makeup, like literally sent home for it. And it was horrific. I then moved to another school and then they were like, oh yeah, you can wear makeup here. And I was like, what? Okay. But then we then got took over by another school and they changed our uniforms and it's like, no, you can't wear makeup, you can't do this. And it's like, what do you get out of this? Like, what is the reason? What is the reason for all of this like strictness around it? I'd be really intrigued to understand what schools are like now, because obviously we're talking a good few years back. But I'd be really intrigued to see. I bet they're worse probably. You'd think it would be more relaxed, but I bet they're worse.
Well, I think they are. Like I said, I think there's some schools that they say to girls, you can only wear skirts or, you can't wear trousers or like, it's just, it really, just the thought of it really infuriates me because I just think it just gives the complete wrong message. We should be allowing people to show up in the way that they want to and, showing people that it's okay to do that and that you'll be accepted for being who you are.
But it definitely instills that in people from the conditioning point that you must toe the line and must be a certain way. It's really sad because it does stop you from being seen. If you can only express yourself through like your hair or your makeup because you're in a uniform, that's not nurturing a child.
No, it's like stripping that individuality away from you. And I think that that's very damaging. And I think even as adults, when you start becoming aware of this, it takes so long to unlearn all of that. And, it's something that I struggle with even now. Like when I think about posting things on social media and I'm speaking my truth and showing up in a way that feels authentic to me, but that can also feel really bloody scary sometimes because it's almost like all of the conditioning where it's been like, you can't say that, you shouldn't say that, someone might be offended if you say that. Like it's that internal dialogue of all of this judgment and all of this critique, and it takes years and years of sort of unlearning that to then be okay with being seen as authentic you.
And like you said, it can take years. I don't think I'm fully there yet.
No,
there's
me neither.
still like 10,000 things that go through my mind before I upload a picture of myself on the internet. I mean, I spent 2 years not posting pictures of myself, and you second guess everything, don't you?
Definitely, because we're so used to that judgment. I think that's what it is, isn't it? It's that we're so used to that. So how does it feel to you when you are being your true, unfiltered, authentic self?
It literally feels like I don't feel chained to anything, and like I do not like feeling restricted. If I feel restricted, it's not a good thing. I can get like very angry or miserable. So when I am being my true self, I feel like free and giddy and just like high on life and just floaty, and it's nice to be able to be like that. And I think that's why it's important to surround yourself with people that you can be yourself around, your true authentic self, because when you're constantly restricting who you are, that has a negative impact on you, not just kind of physically, emotionally, but spiritually as well, and it can dampen your spirit. So yeah, it's very freeing for me. And I can definitely see a difference between me being my authentic self and me kind of making myself smaller.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
And I think you mentioned it there. When you're around people that you feel like you can be your authentic self, I think naturally you'll be drawn to spend more time with those people, because it feels good to just not be judged and to just show up as who you actually are, rather than like who that other person needs you to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with what you said. I think freeing is the best word. It's just, yeah, being completely free and
Flowy.
yeah, going with the flow, like being silly, not being too worried about how you look or what you say. And I think sometimes there's this misconception that if you speak your truth, you're like being really offensive and saying all these things, but often it's not. Like it's not that. It's just expressing yourself in the way that feels good for you and not worrying about managing other people's emotions and managing other people's feelings, because that is exhausting as well. So yeah, I think freeing is the best word to describe it. It just feels good.
I was just thinking about, when we went on the retreat and we had to do that self-expression dance, and I really struggled with it. I just could not. I was like, no, this is too far for me. It wasn't anything bad. It was just the move in your body. But you were surprised. You surprised yourself and gave into it, and you loved it, didn't you?
I did.
And to think like, if I still don't think I could do that. And that is kind of the fear of being seen to let go.
Yeah, of course. I think that's a really normal way to feel. We should definitely try it again. I feel like we need to try it.
Okay.
It is free and I really like it. And I have actually been doing that like when I'm at home as well.
So good.
I just have, because do you know what? So I didn't realise how good it would feel to just like move my body.
I can't move, that's my problem.
In a way that just feels good to me, with absolutely no real consideration for how it looks to anyone else. And I just love it. And like, I just think it is that expression. And even like when you're just like singing at the top of your voice and you literally don't even care what you sound like, because you're just expressing yourself. I think these things, we should be doing this, but we're just so like confined. We've been confined for so long that it's like, oh, you can't do that. But it feels so good. So I feel like, I have so much more work to do. I really, really do. But I feel like I am just on this journey now of just like, I
love that.
I know not even I know who I want to be, I know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just stripping back all of the masking and all of the crap that's been there.
Yeah.
So
shocker for me when you were like, I love that dance. I was like,
I did. I really enjoyed it.
What?
I really enjoyed it.
It's good though.
But I still had that fear of like, oh God, anyone who can see me now. But I was like, do you know what? This is for me, not for anyone else. And I think there's something really empowering about that as well. It's just owning your... No, but it's like just owning your self and owning your body and owning your presence and being like, this is who I am. And it's like, it feels good. It feels empowering.
No, I'm actually jealous that you've managed to get to a point where you could do that. Like I was literally frozen. I couldn't push past a barrier that was there for me. So yeah, it's amazing.
But I think that's normal, and it's good that you've got that awareness. And it's just, we try again. It's a journey. It's a journey, isn't it?
I'm gonna try it.
You should just do it at home. Like, I think that's, when you're at home and there's nobody around, it's just like moving in a way that feels good. And it just feels amazing.
So what would you say to anybody who is listening to this and thinking, oh, this sounds all too familiar, like this is me right now, I feel this quite a lot in a certain situation? What kind of advice do you have?
I think if you've recognised that is the first step. And I think the second step is to really do some reflection on how you're showing up in your life, in your day-to-day, and what things you're doing because you genuinely feel like they are part of you and the way that you want to express yourself, and what things you're doing, saying, wearing, etc.
Yeah.
because that's how you think you're expected to show up. So it's really difficult. I feel like a lot of the time you kind of have to take it back as well, because I think a lot of these things we've been conditioned to believe have come from childhood. So I do feel like we need to go back. But I also think that this is the kind of thing where working with somebody else can actually really support you with this. So whether it's doing spiritual healing, whether it's somebody that can do like journeying with you, whether it's a coach that can support you with different periods in your life, because I do feel like you need to probably go back through the years to really identify
Start kind of dealing with those tethers that are there.
Yeah, definitely. Understanding like what were the first times that I was, where I was shown it was not okay to be my true and authentic self. And that can be quite triggering. It's quite difficult. But I think going through that process is part of what helps you to then be your true and authentic self.
Agreed. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Pretty Spiritual.
If you've enjoyed hanging out with us, then don't forget to like, subscribe and follow along to be the first to receive any updates.
We hope to see you soon on Tuesday the 16th of June for another episode of
Pretty Spiritual.
Pretty Spiritual!